The Harrison family estate sprawled across 30 acres of manicured perfection, its Georgian architecture a testament to old money and older pride. As I pulled up in my deliberately modest Honda, the valet sneered, clearly expecting another luxury vehicle for Dad's annual birthday celebration. "The servant's entrance is around back," he informed me, eyeing my simple black dress. "How fitting," I replied, handing him my keys. If he noticed the custom modifications that made this Honda worth more than his annual salary, he didn't show it. Inside, Aunt Jane was already holding court in the grand foyer, directing staff with her usual imperial air. "Emily, darling," she called out, her diamonds catching the light. "We've put you in the old maid's quarters. Given your current situation, we thought it would be more appropriate than the guest wing." My phone buzzed. Asian markets closing. Harrison Financial Group acquisition complete. Total assets now exceeding $3.7 billion. "How thoughtful," I murmured, watching the staff carry designer luggage to the luxury suites reserved for my more successful relatives. My own bags, deliberately scuffed Samsonite hiding handcrafted Italian leather, waited by the servants' staircase. "Your cousin Victoria just made partner at Goldman Sachs," Aunt Jane continued, examining my outfit with practiced disdain. "While you're still, what was it again? Banking compliance." If only she knew that banking compliance meant I now controlled more assets than Goldman's entire Pacific division, including Victoria's precious partnership. "Something like that," I replied, checking another alert. "European merger confirmed. Harrison Financial now controls 60% of Swiss banking sector." Mom swept down the grand staircase, Cartier glittering at her throat. "Emily, darling, couldn't you have worn something more appropriate? The photographers will be here soon." "Don't worry," I assured her, thinking of the private media empire I'd acquired last month. "I'm sure they'll focus on the family's successes." Speaking of success, Victoria's voice rang out as she descended in Chanel. "Did you ever get that promotion at the compliance office? The junior analyst position." My phone lit up again. Breaking news. Mystery banking mogul acquires major European financial institutions. "Still working on it," I replied mildly, watching another notification flash. "Final paperwork complete. Harrison Financial Group now largest private banking entity in Asia." The grand hall filled with more relatives, each flaunting their own version of success. Cousin Marcus in his bespoke suit, bragging about his hedge fund's latest acquisition, a small bank I'd actually sold him through 3 shell companies at 4 times its value. Emily, Uncle Charles boomed, champagne already in hand. "Still living in that studio apartment? You know, my cleaning lady's daughter is looking for a roommate." My real estate portfolio, hidden behind layers of corporate veils, now included half of Manhattan's premium properties, including the building where Uncle Charles's precious penthouse was about to receive a surprising ownership change notice. "The maid's quarters do seem perfect for her," Aunt Jane stage whispered to Mom. "After all, she's practically a bank servant herself." My phone buzzed again. Urgent. Swiss National Bank requesting meeting with Harrison Group CEO regarding European market consolidation. Dad's voice echoed from the library, where he was undoubtedly showing off his prized collection of financial memorabilia. "The banking industry is about relationships, about legacy. Like the offshore accounts where I'd quietly amassed more wealth than the entire family combined. Or the digital banking platform I'd built while they thought I was finding myself in compliance." "Did you at least bring a gift?" Victoria asked, eyeing my modest gift bag. "The collection for Dad's new yacht is reaching quite an impressive sum." Inside the simple gift bag lay ownership papers to the world's most exclusive private banking network, though they wouldn't discover that until dinner. "Just something small," I said, checking another alert. "Asian markets responding to Harrison Group expansion. Traditional banking stocks in free fall." The estate's butler approached, looking uncomfortable. "Miss Emily, there seems to be some confusion. A bank manager is insisting on speaking with you. Something about a rather large transfer." "How embarrassing," Aunt Jane smirked. "Overdraft issues again, dear." The bank manager burst through the doors, face flushed with excitement. "Ms. Harrison, the $3.7 billion transfer you requested is complete. The European acquisition is finalized." The crystal champagne flute slipped from Victoria's manicured fingers, shattering on imported marble. Billion. Mom whispered, her Cartier necklace suddenly looking very modest. Did he say billion? Uncle Charles's voice cracked. I turned to the manager, allowing my carefully maintained facade to slip just slightly. Thank you, James. Please ensure the Swiss directors receive their new contracts. And do remind the Asian board that tomorrow's meeting has been moved to my private jet. The grand hall fell silent except for the soft ping of incoming news alerts from dozens of phones. The headlines were starting to break. Mystery banking mogul revealed. Harrison Financial Group emerges as global power. European banking sector transformed overnight by unknown billionaire. Traditional banking giants face new reality as Harrison empire expands. About those maids' quarters, I smiled at Aunt Jane, whose face had lost its superior gleam. I actually own this estate now. Bought it last week through one of my shell companies. The servants' wing is being converted into my private banking command center. The grand hall's stunned silence was broken by the sound of approaching helicopters. Through the estate's Victorian windows, 3 sleek aircraft bearing the Harrison Financial logo descended onto the back lawn. Your jets are ready, Miss Harrison, my real assistant announced, emerging from the shadows where she'd been disguised as a server. The Asian board is awaiting your arrival in Singapore. Victoria's perfectly glossed lips trembled. But your compliance job was a cover, I finished, removing my simple black dress to reveal a perfectly tailored Alexander McQueen beneath. Though watching you brag about your Goldman partnership while I acquired your entire division was rather entertaining. Mom sank into a priceless antique chair. The studio apartment houses the most advanced financial AI system ever created, I explained, watching more breaking news flash across phones. Those budget constraints I mentioned were actually billion-dollar server installations. Uncle Charles was frantically calling his investment manager. But it was too late, his entire portfolio had already been quietly absorbed into my banking empire. The cleaning lady's daughter looking for a roommate? I mused, pulling up property records on my phone. I actually hired her last year. She's running my European cryptocurrency division now. Brilliant mind, shame no one in the family noticed. Dad emerged from his library, face ashen. Emily, what have you done? Created the future of banking, I replied as more headlines broke across global financial networks. Harrison Financial Group revolutionizes global banking. Traditional banks face extinction as Harrison empire expands. Mystery billionaire's AI system transforms financial sector. Aunt Jane clutched her pearls. But all those times you borrowed money for work clothes were actually me buying out your banking investments through shell companies, I confirmed. Thanks for selling at such a discount, by the way. Those shares are worth considerably more now. The helicopter's downdraft scattered financial papers across the lawn, documents revealing the true scope of my empire. Traditional banks reduced to subsidiaries, investment firms absorbed into my AI network, centuries of banking tradition transformed overnight. The yacht fund, Victoria said weakly, all our contributions are now in my private account, I noted, checking market updates. Though I did try to warn everyone at last Christmas about investing in traditional banking. Before you all left to attend Victoria's partnership celebration. My phone buzzed continuously with alerts. Asian markets responding to Harrison takeover. European banking sector under new control. Global financial system faces historic transformation. Ms. Harrison, my assistant interrupted, the Federal Reserve Chairman is holding on line 1. The ECB President on line 2. And your family's private banker appears to be having a panic attack on line 3. About that panic attack, I noted, glancing at my Patek Philippe, previously hidden under a cheap Timex facade, you might want to call everyone's wealth managers. Except for Grandma Ruth, she actually listened when I suggested moving her assets to my digital banking platform last spring. Grandma Ruth, 92 and contentedly knitting in her wheelchair, was now the family's second wealthiest member. The same grandmother they'd mocked for falling for Emily's internet banking nonsense. But the compliance office, Victoria persisted, her partnership pin suddenly looking very small. I checked personally, you were there working in that tiny cubicle. A quantum encrypted trading floor disguised as a compliance department, I corrected, bringing up holographic displays from my simple phone. Those spreadsheets you saw me working on? AI algorithms that now control global currency markets. The estate's security system, newly upgraded by my team, activated automated protocols as more reporters gathered at the gates. The Harrison Financial logo, previously hidden, illuminated across the mansion's facade. Sir, my chief of security approached. The G7 financial ministers are requesting an emergency meeting. And Ms. Victoria's Goldman Sachs team is demanding answers about their recent acquisition. Victoria collapsed into a nearby chair, her Chanel suit crumpling. Acquisition. Oh, right, I smiled, pulling up more data. I forgot to mention, Harrison Financial acquired controlling interest in Goldman's Asian operations this morning. You'll find your new employee handbook in your email. Uncle Charles, still trying to reach his investment manager, froze. Employee handbook? Don't worry, I assured him, watching global markets react to my latest moves. Most of the family will be offered positions in the new organization, though perhaps not at their current salary levels. Mom's Cartier necklace caught the light as she shook her head in disbelief. But darling, all those budget dinners, the clearance sales, were market research, I explained. Every financial struggle you mocked was part of building the world's most sophisticated banking empire. Those coupons you laughed at? Prototype digital currencies now worth billions. The helicopter's engines spooled up, ready for my departure to Singapore. But first I had one last revelation for my shell-shocked family. The maids' quarters? I turned to Aunt Jane, whose superior smile had long since vanished. Are actually the entrance to my primary quantum computing facility. Those shabby rooms hide more computing power than all of Wall Street combined. The estate's grand dining room, set for Dad's elaborate birthday dinner, now resembled a war room as my family frantically checked their portfolios and made desperate calls to financial advisors. Ms. Harrison, my chief financial officer, entered, tablet in hand. The integration of European banking systems is complete. Asian markets have stabilized under our control, and Wall Street. She paused, glancing at Victoria's tear-streaked face, is adjusting to its new reality. You destroyed everything, Victoria whispered, her Goldman Sachs partnership agreement crumpled in her fist. Our entire financial legacy. I transformed it, I corrected, watching real-time data flow across my quantum-powered displays. Though I did offer to bring the family in 6 months ago. Before you all laughed at my cute little banking app. That cute app had just revolutionized global finance, making traditional banking as obsolete as Victoria's partnership pin. The servants' quarters, Aunt Jane muttered, still processing the revelation. All those times we visited. We're accessing the most advanced financial command center in history, I finished. Those cheap computers you mocked? Quantum processors worth more than this entire estate. Dad stood by his untouched birthday cake, watching his banking empire crumble. But why the deception? Why let us think that I was a failure? I pulled up more market data. Because success is easier when no one sees you coming. While you were all bragging about Victoria's promotion, I was quietly buying every bank she worked with. My phone buzzed with urgent updates. Traditional banking sector in crisis. Harrison Financial Group emerges as global leader. Wall Street giants fall as new empire rises. Ms. Harrison, my assistant interrupted, the World Bank president is holding for you. And your family's trust fund manager is requesting immediate guidance. I smiled, remembering how they'd threatened to cut me off from that same trust fund last Christmas. Tell them both that the old banking world ended about. I checked my watch, 20 minutes ago. Uncle Charles finally found his voice. The cleaning staff, the servants you lived among, are all quantum computing experts and financial analysts in disguise, I revealed. That maid you were so rude to last week? Has 3 PhDs and runs my AI division. The gardener? MIT's top quantum physicist. The helicopters cast shadows across the dining room's priceless art I now owned through a series of shell companies. My family had always valued appearances. Now those appearances were crumbling faster than their investment portfolios. But we're still family, Mom pleaded, her voice weak. Surely you won't just leave you penniless? I finished. No, you'll all have jobs in the new organization. Starting at entry level, of course. Perhaps Victoria can work her way up to compliance analyst eventually. Victoria's mascara-streaked face contorted in horror. Entry level? Consider it a learning opportunity, I suggested, watching another bank fall under my control. After all, isn't that what you called my little compliance job? Sir, my quantum team leader rushed in. The global financial AI is ready for full deployment. Traditional banking systems are integrating into our network. The dining room screens lit up with cascading data, showing the complete transformation of worldwide banking. Every financial institution, every market, every transaction now flowed through my quantum systems. Impossible, Uncle Charles muttered, watching his life's work dissolve into my empire. These integration speeds can't be real. Like my impossible financial theories at last Thanksgiving? I asked, remembering their mockery. The ones you said would never work in practical banking? The estate's security system activated another protocol as more media vans arrived. The quantum facility beneath the servants' quarters hummed with power, processing more transactions per second than all traditional banks combined. Your birthday gift, Dad, I said, pulling up the final transfer documents. I've moved your remaining assets into quantum-secured accounts. They're worth more now, though you might want to review the new ownership structure. Dad's hands trembled as he read the terms. His banking empire hadn't just been absorbed, it had been completely reinvented. The servants' quarters, I announced to my stunned family, will remain exactly as they are. A reminder that sometimes the greatest power comes disguised as humility. The helicopters awaited, ready to carry me to my next conquest. But first, one final lesson in appearances versus reality. Oh, and Victoria? I called over my shoulder. The compliance department needs those quarterly reports by Monday. Don't be late. I'm not as forgiving a boss as Goldman Sachs. Sometimes the best revenge isn't just success. It's success so complete it transforms everything your critics thought they understood.